What is good, YouTube? Today I'm going to run you through a marksmanship hunter gameplay. It is Algeth'ar's Academy. I know you guys are probably completely tilted at the fact I'm always in Algeth'ar's Academy, but I do feel like it is the best dungeon for you to test your actual spec. What's good, YouTube? We just smashed through 1k subs, even though 97% of you aren't subscribed, so sub to your boy for daily Dragonflight content. But I went for the crit buff this time. We're playing the salvo talent with light ammo, so the light ammo talent is actually going to make your aim shot or any of your trick shot buffs actually hit 2 more targets and deal slightly reduced damage. So it's just nice for bigger AoE packs, that's for sure. As you can see, we're ramping up to 100k there. The salvo talent, it has a 45-second debuff, which is going to send 2 explosive shots out every time you rapid fire or multi-shot, obviously on the 45-second cooldown. So it's going to do incredible AoE burst when they actually fire out, and then you've got explosive shot from the actual hunter tree itself. This mob here is going to vicious ambush somebody. It's going to jump out, or I believe it can target melee as well. And it is going to turn around and cast a Rift Breath, which is pretty simple. You just want to move out of that. I don't know how hard that ambush is going to hit at higher keys. We will have to see. As you can see, I've got a lot of Serpent Stings rolling out just passively because I'm taking Serpent Sting from the Hunter tree, as you saw at the beginning, and then I'm also taking Hydra's Right, which is firing out 2 not aim shots. It's firing out 2 additional Serpent Stings, but basically when I'm aim shotting, it's shooting out 3 Serpent Stings, which is just going to end up dotting pretty much everything. It does do some considerable damage by the end of your key, to be fair. So we're just going to finish off this Ravager mob. He's going to be the main problem in these packs just here at the start. There is a few more packs with that in after this room. Here, your tank probably could pull the whole room if you had a coordinated group, because there's mobs in this room called the Unruly Textbooks, which are going to cast a monotonous lecture, which is going to send whoever they target to sleep for 8 seconds, I believe. So ideally, you want to save your kicks for that, but then I think those surges are really going to hurt as well from those corrupted mana fiends, I think they're called. So yeah, that is going to hurt for sure, but obviously you don't want to be asleep because that's not ideal for anybody, is it? So here we've got Salvo coming off cooldown in 15 seconds. It is a very passive talent, but I do enjoy it just for the huge numbers, the huge pop-off moments you get every 45 seconds, which obviously in high keys, that's going to be once every pack or maybe twice every pack, depending on how big or how long the pack actually is. So yeah, we're going to finish off these mobs. Once you've finished off these mobs, the first boss is going to spawn, which is Vexamus. You'll see here. I don't know if there's going to be some tech when we actually figure out these dungeons. Don't know what I'm changing here. I think projected textures. Yeah, there you go. I'm just making sure they're applied because I had done this boss a few times previously and hadn't been able to see anything on the floor, so I was just dying to what seemed to be randomly, but it was actually me just stood in shit that I couldn't see on the floor, so that is not ideal. I don't know what just hit for 65k then. I just randomly hit the boss for 65k. Aim shots critting for 93k there, which seems to be pretty nuts. I didn't realise they were actually hitting that hard. But I feel like aim shots should hit that hard. Obviously, they got the buff. This was before the actual... No, not the buff, sorry. This was before the nerf. So aim shot has just received an aim shot nerf, which is kind of weird champ. There's a lot better performing specs than Marksmanship Hunter, that is for sure. So I'm not too sure why they did that. Obviously, you've seen that Enhancement got the 25% flat damage nerf, so at least MM didn't get that because that would have been cringe. This is the thing that I couldn't see on the floor. So he's going to cast that ability and he's going to leave 3 pools behind wherever you move to. So you just want to make sure you keep moving. I wouldn't even try and cast in between it. Arcane Expulsion is just a frontal on the tank, I believe. So you just dodge that, and these pools that spawn around the room, you just don't want to let the boss absorb too many of them, if any at all. Just go around. They do leave a debuff on you, which is going to stack up, and I believe it just makes you take more damage from taking more orbs. So as a hunter, maybe on high keys, you're going to get a turtle aspect of the cheetah, zoom around the room, pick them all up for your team. It's similar to the boss in Spires, the third boss. Cannot remember what he is called. But yeah, it's basically you just absorb the orbs before you get to him. Those orbs do move very slow though, and apparently you can kite that boss quite a way. So we will see. Maybe there might be some kiting tech, like in the first boss of Sanguine, for example. But as you can see here, AoE, it's no problem for the Hunter. We got just sustaining 100k with the burst from all the explosive shots. Obviously, you got salvo pumping out too, and then you're taking explosive shot itself from the Hunter tree. So you're getting 3 of them, which is just going to explode and hit everything around it for like just crazy damage. Here, I'm hoping the tank is going to do a big pull. Yeah, it looks to be. So we're going to pop all our cooldowns here. As an Hunter, what I found is you want to go double tap. I believe you still want to use rapid fire with the double tap. So you're going to go double tap, then you're going to Death Chakram, which is going to make them take 10% increased damage. Explosive shot. Then you're going to want to volley, true shot, rapid fire, aim shot in the volley window. Then you can multi-shot again afterwards. With the bullet storm procs as well, I think it's your rapid fire is going to buff your actual multi-shot damage, so that's a nice little interaction. I feel like we had something like that in Legion, back when MM was POG with the old vulnerability windows. Bring back vulnerability, Blizzard, please. That was such a fun little mechanic. I was talking with Hardbite the other day about how the vulnerability mechanic was working, and it just added that little bit of complexity that I feel like the Hunter spec needs. Because they're all, except maybe survival, both the other specs are relatively simple. is quite simple. It's very easy to just do big damage on these. We are seeming to be losing a bit of defensives in Dragonflight. So obviously with the conduits at the moment, currently in Shadowlands, we have the Feign Death conduit, which is going to make you take like 8% less damage for 8 seconds after you feign death. So we're losing that, obviously. That's what's nice about pre-patch at the moment, is as a Hunter, we actually feel pretty tanky. Because now we have, as you can see on my Shift G keybind, Fortitude of the Bear, which I think is a 20% health increase. So that's pretty huge. As BM, that depends on the pet you currently have summoned, because that either turns into Primal Rage, which is basically your Bloodlust, Fortitude of the Bear, which is just a health increase, like I said, or you get Master's Call, which is the root freeing ability, which is more of like a PvP type ability. So they're the 3 buffs you get from your pets. But as a marksman hunter, it seems, I don't think it depends on the last pet that you had out. That would be kind of cool though if it worked like that. So Blizzard, maybe have a little think about that if you're watching, because I know that's why you nerfed Enhancement Shaman, because you saw all my videos and you saw how much I was pumping on them. But maybe if, say, you last summoned a ferocity pet, once you dismiss it, obviously to get your lone wolf buff as a marksman hunter, maybe you could have the primal rage ability as your pet ability, even though you don't have it, like I still have Fortitude of the Bear at the moment, because that eliminates hunters having to do the weird tech where you have to like dismiss your pet while casting primal rage, and then you miss out on like a bit of your burst. I don't know if lone wolf still takes time to ramp up, but I remember hunters just were not happy about that, rightly so, to be fair, because that is such a cringe little mechanic, not being able to lust properly, because obviously everyone invites the hunter expecting a lust from them. If they don't have a lust, there we go, another 110k, just huge damage. I think I saw the explosive shots critting for 50k on everything then, so that is pretty insane. But yeah, that's something to think about. I literally just thought about that then. It might even be the case, I'm not too sure, I'm not too clued up on it, but it is pretty cringe the way lust works for hunters, that is for sure. Like, they're basically just not a lust class because of how the pet interaction works. Personally, if I had it my way, I would have a pet as marksman. Obviously, I know it's not the best because you lose a 10% damage, so I will never play that until it is actually the meta. But I chose hunter all those years ago to have a pet, not just to have a pet while I was in the beast mastery class. So yeah, if I had it my way, I would have a pet, just one with marksmanship hunter, just to have a little pet, especially for, like, I know in leveling you probably do still take a pet just to have something tank the aggro for you, but there's some nice little interactions with the pet especially as BM. I know obviously that specialization is centered around the pets, obviously. So here I think you've got 3, maybe 4 waves of the birds that come down. Towards the end you have 2 alpha eagles. I think because there's 2 in this pack, that means this is the last actual pack that we need to do before the bosses. Pretty simple to take down. Kick the Call the Flock ability that these boys cast. I'm pretty sure that just summons more birds, but I think that's pretty much the only thing you need to kick. And then they cast Gust as well, which is just a frontal, easy to move out of again. Don't judge me too much for clicking my action button there. I hadn't set it up on the beta. I don't even think I've got it set it up on retail, to be fair, because I just feel like you never really have an extra action button. So I've never felt the need to bind it, but I mean, for sure, I should be doing that. Like, that's just a poor excuse. Also, excuse my cringe misdirection there. Normally I have a macro where I just copy the character name of the tank and then just bang it in the macro, but that is an effort when you're going from key to key all the time and having to remember that. Not too sure if on single target as a marksmanship hunter you want to be pressing volley. I was told by the old ego snipe that in Shadowlands you were meant to press volley, even though wasn't it a talent in Shadowlands? I know it still is, but it's like obviously you're going to be taking that as a marksmanship hunter for Mythic Plus, that is for sure. So let me know if you do need to spend your volley in single target. Another perk of the marksmanship hunter, as you've just seen, is not being interrupted or silenced by the deafening screech that Crawlth is casting. Obviously you don't have to worry about that as a hunter with any interrupt or CS mechanics, like as in counterspell mechanics. You don't have to worry about stopping your cast, because I'm not actually sure the reasoning. Is it because it's physical damage, or like I guess it's just because it's a protected cast, so you can't actually... Wait, what happens here? Our tank's dead. Do we wipe here? I actually can't remember this. I feel like somehow we actually just finish off this boss without the tank, which is unreal. So also as the MM Hunter, you've got the talent called Readiness, which I think just used to be an ability by itself, and you'd press it and it would remove the cooldown of like a few abilities. I'm not too sure if it was all your abilities or what, but now it is tied to your Wailing Arrow, which is quite nice. So obviously Wailing Arrow is the AoE ability from the bow you'd get in Shadowlands from Sylvanas, a legendary bow. Begins with R. The name is forgotten. So no, we don't actually. So we do wipe. That's cringe. So yeah, Readiness is going to be tied to your Wailing Arrow, and whenever you Wailing Arrow, it's going to reset all charges on your rapid fire and aim shot, both charges of your aim shot as well. So that is very nice, especially for AoE. I don't know how it would work with your true shot window, because you would get them back so fast anyway. I feel like you'd be wasting the actual charges. So maybe it's something to look out for outside of your true shot window, just to keep like a bit of consistency there. So now there is actually 2 ways you can do this dungeon. I've seen a lot of people on higher keys just running this way, so that the tree boss here seems to be the make or break for groups, especially on higher keys. So some people are just going here first to get it out of the way. This room's pretty rough, especially on fortified, which we are currently running on this key. Obviously it's just fortified. We don't actually have Bundering, so I'm missing out on 30% damage here, which is interesting, I will say. But these Skitterflies are horrid. So they cast Agitation, which is they just completely one-shot the healer there. So they cast that ability, Agitation, which is a stacking. I've just seen that it's actually stackable, which is insane. A stackable enrage on them, so I could be removing that with obviously my trank shot here, but bad hunter. That is for sure. So, and then they also do a leap, which isn't... The damage from the leap isn't increased by the enrage, thankfully, because it one-shots people anyway. As you just saw, Rakash, my man, he just got taken out instantly by the old leap there. So I don't know if binding shots work. I feel like I've tried it and they don't. They do just jump through it, but yeah, they absolutely slap. So there's like a stun angle, anything you can, pop a defense if you see them running to you. Maybe as a range you could get far enough out. You see the bit of travel time there. If I was good enough, maybe I could disengage out of it. You got to pre-disengage, it looks like, because I don't know, it does seem like they get to you pretty quick, to be fair. Fury Warrior is absolutely blasting here. So for me, For my main, I think I'm currently deciding. Enhance obviously took a massive hit recently, so I feel like not as many people are going to be playing that. Myself may be included, but I was already leaning towards Hunter. But actually recently, Warrior has really taken my fancy. I've never normally been a Warrior player, but I was playing a bit of Warrior on the beta the other day, and it's just so fun, man. Like, they are just smashing buttons. Like, I imagine that there comes a point when you want a bit of a rest and you're like, right, can I just like play arms or something, and then like have 1 action per minute instead of the 1 million actions per minute you get as Feral. So yeah, here obviously you see these skitterflies are patrolling around the room. I think they only do half, and then the other skitterfly pack that we killed do the other half. So we're going to pull it with this Vile Lasher as well. The Vile Lashers in this room are what trigger the boss, so you want to take them all out and then the boss will actually trigger. They're pretty easy to deal with. They just do the seeds on the floor, which you just jump out of. It's pretty simple mechanic to deal with just there. So once you kill all of them, the boss will spawn. I actually really like this boss. It's just like pure AoE pad. Obviously the ads are somewhat of a priority because you do not want to get overrun by them. I believe the deal with the ads in the boss fight are actually just like a tank mechanic. Like, they will just absolutely pummel your tank. So you definitely want to be killing them as quickly as you can, but I wouldn't say hard swap to them. The boss does another ability called Branch Out, where he throws out like a druid Trent, however you say it. And that is going to cast Healing Touch. I don't know how Healing Touch works, whether he heals the boss. I feel like I'm going to absolutely pop off in this pack. Yeah, 100k. Didn't have my cooldowns for this pack, unfortunately. My salvo did pop at the start, so it's probably going to be a steady decline here on the DPS meter. Oh, maybe not. See, that's a nice thing with Hunter now, is the Bullet Storm is keeping your multi-shot from like actually doing damage. So you've got the buffed multi-shots into the big rapid fires. You've got the explosive shots, Death Chakrams, which is doing the 10% damage increase. I can't believe I hated the first time I played Hunter. I hated it. I found it so like stale and boring. But there is actually quite a few intricacies. I don't know if I saw Bullet Storm in the top right. I feel like I just saw it stack up to 25 stacks, which seems pretty insane. We'll see at the end. I think I do bring up my overall this time, thankfully. So we'll see how much multi-shot is of our actual overall. I know it's mainly going to be rapid fire, explosive shot, probably aim shot as well. And yeah, I think it is a nice little spread of abilities. I still need to learn how to play on single target, and obviously for this boss I'm kind of saving my cooldowns to take out the ads, you know. So yeah, we're going to go into the Overgrown Ancient here. It reminds me a lot of the boss from Darkheart Thicket back in Legion. Obviously spawning the ads. He doesn't pick up the tank like he did in Legion, but here we go. We're going to pop our cooldowns. We got the salvo proc there as well, which is perfect timing, to be fair. Straight up to 80k there. So the idea is that range want to stack. If you can coordinate your whole group to stack on the tank and move like clockwise or counterclockwise, however you want to do it, at exactly the same time, then most of the ads are going to be spawned pretty much on top of each other, and you will be able to just cleave all of them down. So it makes for a lot easier fight. Obviously I wasn't too close then. I'm getting very low here, and I actually end up dying there. I don't know, do I get a... No. Oh yeah, no, I could get a res here actually. I forget that prop pallets have a combat res, which is so bizarre to me. As you can see there, the explosive shot doing 1 million damage, and most of my damage in that fight, to be fair. I missed the overall then, I didn't actually see it then, but there we go. How weird is that pallets can now battle res? That is bizarre to me. So here we're going to go, there's the Branch Out, big swirly, which is going to spawn at the Ancient Branch. I'm going to kick that. Someone else kicked it for me. Thank God. And get back to DPSing. I just seem to be taking a shit ton of damage here. I see that I've got a dot on me. I don't know where that dot comes from. I assume it's on everybody, to be fair. So maybe... Oh, healer's dead. Rip. But we are just going to... Look at me. Absolutely padding. We are just going to finish off the boss here. Make sure it is done. I'm going to exile there just to keep myself topped up. And there you go. Nice little 235k there. No, that was just at the end. So we ended on 63k hit there. This was before the enhancement shaman nerf, so take off 25%. What's that? I don't even know. That is, yeah, I'm not even going to embarrass myself trying to work that out. Maybe like 55k. I don't know. I've just completely embarrassed myself there. So we're going to run back over to Crawlth and go for take 2 on Crawlth for this dungeon. I didn't actually know that we wiped in here. Time is seeming pretty tight, but it's actually doable. I think at this point in the key, I was a bit demotivated and demoralized, and I was thinking, yeah, this is another waste of time. I'm not going to get a gameplay for YouTube here, because I wouldn't want to upload a gameplay that I don't time. Even though I think I definitely did it on the Outlaw gameplay, but that's because one of the guys just randomly left for some reason. And we still no, we didn't time it. We still completed it as a 4-man, so had to get that content out for the boys. Had to get some Outlaw Rogue gameplay, which we uploaded the other day as well. Outlaw is looking like a blast too, that is for sure. So yeah, on this boss, you've got the Savage Pet. I think that's just a tank mechanic. Then you've got the Deafening Screech, which is going to be the interrupt for most range classes, except for the Chad Marksmanship Hunter. There you go. You've got the Overpowering Gust, which is the same as the Smallies that were before this boss the first time, before we wiped. It's just the frontal gust cast that you want to stand out of. And then finally, you're going to get the balls that he actually spawns. I would have thought that they were, I was going to say, I would have thought they would have come out by now, but they finally turned up here. So on the beta so far, only the fireballs have been working. So you want to be throwing them at the same goal. I don't know why the boys are throwing them at the wind goal. Maybe they didn't know, but the fire one is going to stun the boss. The boss is going to take 75% increased damage, and it's going to put a load of fire swirlies on the floor. Do not try and cast or finish your cast before the fire swirly hits, because they come down rapido. So yeah, definitely don't do that. You just want to move straight out of them. I think it's only one set of swirlies that come out, so you can see where the safe space is, go there, and then actually keep pressing the boss. So in the chat here, the shaman is saying wait to drop the balls at 50% for some reason. I don't know. The wind goal over the left-hand side. Oh, we've lusted as well. PogChamp. I think it's probably going to be a bit overkill, but I mean, we're going to get it done anyway. We probably should have saved lust for the last boss, I reckon. But yeah, the wind goal is going to start the like heavy winds, which is going to like just move your character constantly to the right side of the platform, and it's also going to drop, it's meant to drop a haste buff that you go and pick up. I don't know what the haste multiplier is, but I know that it drops a haste buff, but it hasn't been working on the beta, so I haven't been able to test that for you guys yet. There we go, silence. You'll love to see that. So there we go, we take down Crawlth, and now it is just a sprint for the finish line. We still have 18% to go. So it's going to be the last big mobs up the stairs that are going to cast the Disrupting Pulses, which again isn't going to affect the Marksmanship Hunter. Maybe Marksmanship Hunter's sleeper OP in this dungeon, who knows? And they also cast the Astral Whirlwind, which any melees you want to definitely jump out of. Don't know why I was inspecting the Shaman here, but he was taking Earth Ellie, so maybe that's why. I went straight over to that, I don't know why, but as you see, he was pumping on that last boss, that's for sure. Here I'm typing out, we can still time it to the boys, give them some motivation, as I realised myself, acting like I was positive the whole time. So I think we just need to do like a bigger pool here, and then we should be fine for time. I know that we do time the key, that is for sure. But yeah, we got the salvo going out there, as you can see, 40-second cooldown in the top right, some big damn. Like as a Marksmanship Hunter, when you've got the salvo ready, I sent out the Wailing Arrow there as well. Ooh, I almost died there. I think that was just the Disrupting Pulses. I don't know if that does more damage to you if they like catch you casting. Even though obviously they didn't interrupt me, but I don't know if I get like interrupted. If I was on a different class, for example, say a mage, if I got interrupted or CS, would I take more damage from that ability? I don't know. I'll have to test that in another dungeon, but I can't imagine that's probably how it works. Almost got absolutely clotted by the bloody security there. So these guys are the same. That we got a guy in the back that casts arcane missiles, I believe. So yeah, again, just the same for these. The only problem with the light ammo talent that I took here is obviously here is only 2 mobs now, which is still so cringe for marksmen. I don't know why they cannot just give us trick shots on 2 targets. I don't know what the old lore is behind that. But yeah, light ammo is going to make my ricochets hit 2 additional targets, or you can take heavy ammo, which is only going to ricochet 3 times. I feel like is it 3 times in total, so it's going to hit your main target and then bounce to 2 other targets, but it's going to do increased damage. So that's a nice little niche for marksmanship. If you've got a smaller dungeon, for example, something like Theatre of Pain, obviously I know it's not going to be in Dragonflight, but as an example, then you might want to take heavy ammo and just absolutely destroy packs of 3. Or if there's packs of 5, you're going to be absolutely destroying 3 of the 5. But then I don't know, would you just not take either of the talents because you've got the perfect amount of mobs with 5 mobs? I'm not too sure how it's going to play out for marksman. I haven't tested too much with the other talents, like specifically the right side of the tree. I haven't really tested, which I know to be more single target, I think. So yeah, we're going to go into the last boss here. With this last boss, every time you get hit by a mechanic, it's going to leave a debuff on you. Once that debuff stacks up to 3, it's going to drop a pool beneath you, which is then going to pulse out more orbs in like 4 directions. It's a bit like the spears on the last ads of Spires of Ascension. So yeah, you just don't want to stand near the pools once you do drop them. There are some unavoidable mechanics which is going to give you the debuff. For example, this one is just like an arcane bomb, and once I take damage from it, you see I've got the purple man. That is the debuff you want to be looking out for. Once you get to 3 of that, you would drop the puddle. I don't know why the warrior jumped in with me then. I don't feel like you're meant to share that mechanic, but maybe that's what he thought it was. Maybe he popped a spell reflect and tried to take the damage for me. I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure it's just a solo soak mechanic, because otherwise 3 people would guaranteed be getting 1 stat, or 4 or 5 people, however many people want to actually try and help soak, they'll all be getting the debuff. And then by the end of this fight, especially in like a high tyrannical key, you are going to have unlimited amounts of pools, which you see behind the dragon there. And you can see they're just pulsing out orbs, and even 2 of them are actually sending out a considerable amount of them. Energy bomb, there we go, we've got it again. I think, yeah, I panicked this time because I saw the warrior jump out to me. I didn't know whether it was a stackable mechanic or not, so I popped Fortitude of the Bear there, which is a nice defensive for Hunter. Like, obviously, Hunter's always memed on for the lack of defensive, so it's definitely warranted. I feel like they could have given us the Feigned Death Conduit in the Hunter tree. I feel like that would have been a nice little touch. I don't feel like Hunter would have been too broken or insane with too many defensives like that, sorry. Because like, if you look at the bloody Warlock tree, I saw a tweet the other day saying if you looked at the Warlock tree without any class icons, oh my god, I just panicked out with it, then Warlock tree would look like an absolute tank tree. So that is interesting. I think that is the overall there, so we were just shy of 50k on the overall. Rapid fire aim shot explosive doing all the work for us. Multi-shot doing 7% of our damage, which is pretty considerable. And then you got the Glacial Fury flask. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe to your boy. We're almost at 1.5k subs already. Feels like just the other day, literally 3 days ago, we hit 1k subs, which is just insane support from you guys. So appreciate that. And we will catch you later.